Hey Stat252, my name is Mohit, and today we're going to go over problem 50. For part A, it's asking us to write down the null and alternative hypothesis. We're going to define P1 as a proportion of boys who grow out of asthma during their teenage years, and P2 as a proportion of girls. So for our null hypothesis, we're going to write P1 minus P2 is less than or equal to 0. And what this basically means that the proportion of boys is less than the proportion of girls. That's why it's less than or equal to 0. Our alternative hypothesis, the one we're trying to test, is P1 minus P2 is greater than 0. And this is because if the proportion of boys is greater than girls, it's obviously going to be greater than 0. So for part B, we have to test the significance level. So first, we're going to go to Analyze and go to Distribution. For the Y column, we want to put outgrow asthma. And for gender, we want to put that in the by section. And for the count, we can put that in the frequency section. When we click OK, Jump automatically gives us a lot of data, including the counts for no's and yeses for both females and males, and the probability proportion for each one. So to test the significance, we're going to go to Analyze again and go to Fit Y by X. We're going to put outgrow asthma for the Y, gender for the X, and count for frequency, just like before. When we click OK, we come to this mosaic plot, and from here we're going to do a 2-sample test for proportions. We're going to click on yes because we're trying to see the proportion of people who grow out of asthma. So this Jump's null hypothesis says female minus male is less than or equal to 0 with a p-value of 1. Our alternative hypothesis is the middle one right here. Female minus male is greater than or equal to 0, just rewritten. And so what can we conclude from that? We reject the null hypothesis since it's a very small number, and that the claim is not supported that more boys grow out of asthma. So for part C, we're going to go back to this distribution and go to test probabilities. We want to test it at a 10% significance level. So we're going to click on 0.10 for the yes, and the probability is less than the hypothesized value. So we're going to click done. This test gives us a p-value of 0.9982. What can we conclude from that p-value? We can conclude that we do not reject the null hypothesis. Furthermore, our null hypothesis is P1 minus P2 is less than or equal to 0.1. And our alternative is P1 minus P2 is greater than 0.1. Thank you.